The challenge that we're facing is that we are trying to live our life on the road and run a business and raise our 18-month-old and still be connected with my daughter who's in college in Idaho, visit family, maintain relationships with friends, be a part of a church, all these things. There are many obstacles to overcome. We refuse to believe that it's impossible, and we start taking a look at how do we overcome these obstacles. And so the one I want to talk to you about today is the one that everyone asks about. How are we running a business out of the house, but also having guests in the house? Like, what in the world does that look like? How do you live a life that is both living in an Airbnb that's going to have strangers in it in a week, really in 48 hours, but also maintaining life, especially with a kid and a business? I don't even know where to start explaining how we do this, but this is a really good time to see it. Right now, we are less than 48 hours out from hitting the road. And so this is the time that is the most awkward, I would say, for the transition. It's the time when you kind of want to pack the camper, but you need to have clothes available, you know, to live your life. You want to start moving your house out, but you still live in your house. And it's kind of a strange place. So we've come up with some solutions, some ideas, ways that we do it, and I'm just going to share it with you so that you can see, in case you've ever thought of doing something like this, traveling and putting your house on Airbnb or some sort of platform for short-term rentals. I figure the best place to start is an awesome solution that we have. I'm going upstairs right now into the office where we run Steadfast Life Coaching, which is in our attic. So it used to be the attic converted to an office, and it's not accessible from the house. And so this is a huge blessing to us that we have this space that is not connected to the rental. Welcome in behind the scenes. I'm doing this without Whit's permission. This is where work happens. So we actually have a webinar that we're going to be doing, but we also have this area over here. So we've got Whit's clothes that she does take in the camper often, but not always, right? So like a down jacket like this. And then in here, we can actually put things that we don't wear when we're here and also don't wear in the camper. They're like those extra things that were in your closet that you thought, oh, this is so important, I can't get rid of them. This is my stuff that actually generally goes downstairs in the closet. These are clothes that I can wear in these next 48 hours because I don't need to pack them. Things like this laptop that's charging over here, getting ready for the road. That goes in this particular backpack. We call this one the mobile office. We've got all these bins of clothes. So you can see, like, this one says Whit's Winter in here. So this is all Whit's winter stuff. I've got some cold weather gear in this one. If you look at it one way and it looks real nice on the videos, but you look the other way at what we're looking at, and you can see that we're kind of living in storage. And this gap has sort of evolved right here in these clothes. It's just someplace that I can walk through without hitting my head. This actually gets locked with keys. And then we have security cameras that watch it so we can actually see it from wherever we are. This is both where we sleep, but also what we need to have ready for the next guests that are gonna come in here. And so one of the cool solutions we've come up with are these bins right here. So like right now, they're just filled with towels, but they get filled with various things for this specific 48-hour period. Those are towels that we use for the shower. There are a couple that we are drying that we use for the towel. These are the towels that are going to get washed and restocked for the Airbnb guests. And so we don't use those towels. We'll put Maverick's toys in there. We'll put in the clothes like I was showing you upstairs that are just for this period, but not for the road and not for storage. Any little knickknacks, things that we like to have out when we're here, they go in these bins. And then when we get home, so we'll be home from this trip, Halloween, these bins will just be waiting in the garage for us. We'll grab the bins, bring them in as sort of part of our unpacking of the camper. And now that moves our towels back in, our clothes back in, Maverick's toys back in. And so everything kind of comes down to these bins that are just meant to store 48 hours of living things so that we can easily move them in and out. I'll show you what our closet looks like right now. Not like a normal closet. You can see I'm pretty packed up over here. So this is the way that my stuff goes into the camper. And so I just got it here on the shelf and I'm kind of half living out of it, half not while I'm here. But this is gonna have to be entirely cleaned out. Another kind of cool thing to see in here is what a bathroom sink looks like when you don't really live in your house. It's pretty funny. You know, if you look in here, you're gonna find there's not much stuff in there. We can look in this one. This is stuff that I take on the road. This is actually the bag that it all goes in. So it just sort of sits here, and I've been using it now for about 2.5 weeks. But it just kind of waits there for me. Here's one more kind of cool thing that's been a game changer for us. Sometimes we're in KOAs, sometimes we're in hotels, sometimes we're in the camper, sometimes we're in people's homes that are just nice enough to let us stay there. And so one of the things tough to keep track of is all of the chargers for all the electronics that we have, both for life and for the business. And so all the chargers always go in this bag. We stopped, I guess, trying to keep it separate, like, oh, this is the computer stuff, this is the phone stuff. We don't do that anymore. If it's a charger, it goes in here. That way, if we're packing up from a hotel or from someone's home and you come across a charger, it just goes in the orange bag. It always goes in the orange bag. It just keeps it really simple. And then we've been able to sort of keep track of all of our charges a bit better. So even though we've been here for almost 3 weeks now, I still kept all the chargers in the charging bag. And I just have a little phone charger by my bed that I use when I go to sleep at night. So it's just kind of a cool solution that you may want to try. Kind of a fun part of the process for us. Every time we do this and it comes time to like actually start packing up the camper, it seems like we find even more stuff that we don't need. It's a funny revelation as someone in a consumer culture as you start doing something like this, limiting it so much and recognizing the value you put on having space in that camper, that there's just so much stuff that you don't need. So we usually end up with a pile like this. You can kind of see clothes and some baby stuff, etc. that Maverick doesn't need anymore. That's on its way to Goodwill. So that's kind of always one step in our process towards getting the camper. We've got to make sure we get all of these guys charged. So it's just a vacuum and then the drill. This is Maverick's travel car seat, and we make sure it goes behind my seat, which is the opposite way that we would do it normally, just living regular life around town, because then when Whit is up there in her seat, she's got access to him a little bit easier. And then this guy right here is a game changer. We just want to make sure that this guy is fully charged up all the way to the green. It can turn over this diesel engine with 2 batteries in 10 seconds. I hook that thing up and it goes, even if it's fully dead. Sometimes we put his shoes, I think they're supposed to be drink holders, but we usually put his shoes, 1 shoe in each one, because he always takes them off when he's in the car, and this way we can just put them on real quick when we get out to go do something. We sometimes will try slipping an iPad in here. He's not really at the age yet where he cares about that at all, but it could be handy for him in the future. We really just use that for times that Whit and I need to work while we're driving, and he's not gonna be asleep. One of the awesome things about getting a little time off of the road is that we got a chance to get new tires on here, and then also have the entire thing detailed. So we got new tires from Holman Off-Road, and we got it detailed over at Bulldog Auto in Temple. And Bulldog also put this on for us. So we've got the QR code this round that'll direct people into how they can work with us or follow us on Instagram or things like that. And it's just so awesome to have this thing just so shiny and new. Gets us very excited about going. He even got the bugs off of the grill, which is no easy task. The last piece of this puzzle is the food. So here we are in our 48-hour window. We want the food out of here. There's food that we want in the camper, and we kind of live our life differently when we're at home than we do from the camper. A great example of that is that if we are at home, we would have something like cornstarch, right? We're not gonna take this in the camper. We don't have this with us in there, but it's something that we have in here because sometimes, I don't know, maybe it makes a cornstarch thing. I don't even know what that is, but it could happen. So these clear plastic bins, we know already that they fit in the camper. I even know, looking at this height, that like this will not fit in the camper. It's gonna have to be more like, it can stick up this high, but that's about it to slide in there. But the good part of that is that then we can say, okay, we've got one that's for like spices and seasonings. We're gonna have one that's for snacks. We're gonna have one that actually is for like cooking utensils, plates, etc. like that. We tend to use paper plates a lot. And then we have one I don't see right now, but it's like flat. That's the one that the lunch goes in. And so it's really nice because whenever it's lunchtime, we just grab the lunch bin and then open up the fridge and pull out the cold lunch supplies, and that's what we use for lunch. And it just makes it really simple. And then we got like a dinner container, and then we don't have really a breakfast container, so we don't eat much breakfast, only Maverick. And so the breakfast container is really just coffee and oatmeal. But that actually goes into one of these clear plastic containers that also has this electric kettle in it. And so they're all in one. So as soon as we pull that out, it all Velcros in, and we pull the whole thing out. We have the coffee, we have the oatmeal, we have the coffee cups, we have the electric kettle, all in one spot. It's just all in one piece. It just comes out. The two tips I would offer if you're looking to try and do this very tricky transition is, one, to know when you're in your 48-hour window and eat accordingly. 1.5, we'll say, find some neighbors that you know that they kind of know what you're up to, and it's not super weird if you bring them over some food and you're like, hey, I need to get rid of all this. And then also these clear bins that are tested, they're tried and true, that they fit in your camper so that you know exactly where they go, and then you can know, okay, I overbought groceries, it's not going to fit in there, without having to walk everything out there and test it.